Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Collab District Podcast, where we bring entrepreneurs together to share their stories in their own industry. I'm your host, Jonathan Davis, and I got a very special guest today that's turning up the heat in the culinary arts world. Welcome to the show as I'm cooking up success with Chef Palmer.
What's up, man? How you doing today?
So, Chef, man, let's dive right into it, man. I want to know a little bit about your background and what led you to the culinary arts.
So basically, I got inspired to cook. I started off as a busser in the food world, and I got an opportunity to go to the back of the house for a prep cook. And I went back there, and it was at Famous Dave's, so it's barbecue. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah.
I went back there, I started tweaking the mac and cheese and the rib rubs and the coleslaw and all that, and I fell in love with it, and I started gaining a little newfound passion for it. And the chef came back one day and tried one of my rubs, and he's like, "Yo, this is amazing. Do you ever think about being a line cook?" And I'm like, "I'd love to." So he gave me the opportunity one week. It was a slower week, and he let me get on the line, and I killed it, man. And I was in there showing off and talking to the servers and all that. "Yo, want me to do this special, this, that." It grew on me and opened a lane for me, which made me fall in love with the cooking.
Nice.
Sure.
Did you grow up out here in Oxnard?
Yeah, man.
Ventura County?
Born and raised in Oxnard. I was born in Camarillo. I've been in Oxnard my whole life. Ventura a little bit, small segment of my life, and Moore Park. So yeah, man, straight
And
from
where'd
there.
you go to high school at?
I went to Rio Mesa,
Okay.
and then for college, I did a little bit of Moore Park College and Ventura College.
And did you grow up playing any sports or anything?
I played basketball my whole life. Wasn't one of the top players on the team. I played behind a lot of big cats, and it definitely kept me off the streets and out of trouble, like in high school. Because in high school, I had no passion or anything involvement with cooking. Basketball would definitely saved my life through the childhood of mine. And I grew up in El Rio. Yeah, so it was rough, low income, not the best people to be around. So
you got to figure it out.
It definitely was helpful to attend basketball practices every day and travel and do that, you know what I mean? It kept me off the streets and kept me level-headed for sure.
I've known you for a while, known of you, but when I first met you, I was going to Cafe Fioria.
Yeah.
And you was whipping up this pasta for me and Rue that I was living down the street. I was telling him, like, man, let's go get that pasta at Cafe Fioria. Other than there, where other places have you had the opportunity to be head chef, some of the other restaurants in the area?
Some other restaurants that gave me a big opportunity and lead to where I'm at today is Larson's. So Larson's Grill and Steakhouse.
I love that place.
I opened 6 restaurants with them, 6 chains with them.
Wow.
Traveled to Vegas. I did LA, Simi Valley, and then Ojai Valley Inn too. They gave me a big opportunity, and I got to go over there, and I learned so much there, man. I was under this chef called Chef Andre, and he was incredible. He actually cooks for the Dallas Cowboys. A private club in Dallas.
Oh, so at a private club?
He moved from Ojai Valley Inn out to Dallas, and he just runs their whole show out there. I definitely had some big mentors under my belt, man, that paved the way for me to get to where I'm at right now.
Yeah, definitely. Mentors are definitely good to have, because I always tell people, like, when you grab a good mentor or you got a person in your life where they're successful in what you want to do and they're actually showing you, then it becomes obtainable, right? It's
Absolutely.
always just this, like, this dream or these goals, but when you actually see someone moving in the same arenas that you want to move in, it becomes a lot more real and obtainable.
Yeah.
So I always tell people it's wise to get around mentorship, but there's a lot of people, I feel like in our culture, we don't like mentorship.
Yeah.
Like, we get our success and
we
just go, we're like, I'm going to go over here because he might take my idea.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a cultural thing that dates back to a lot of things, a different topic for another day. It's always good to grab a good mentor and be under good mentorships for a lot of different reasons. Now you're known for your hibachi grill food truck, which is very unique in itself, but like, how did that idea of the Gourmet District come about, and what sets you and the Gourmet District apart from other food trucks?
So that backstory is my boy Frankie Compound. We basically were throwing pop-up events together. He would do his clothing, and I'll do pop-up restaurants, and I'll come up with different unique recipes and menus. And one day I did a hibachi one, and it went off the charts. I sold out, seen the most money I ever seen. I had the most fun I ever had at a pop-up, you know what I mean? And we sat down one day in his backyard. It was his dad's birthday or something. We're just having a couple beers and some carne asada. And we're like, hey, why don't we open our own shit? We open a truck where you could sell your clothing, I could sell food. Okay. And we designed it together. Yeah. And he's, let's do it. And we got an opportunity to get a truck through family and on his side. And the rest is history, man. He dropped all kinds of clothes for it. He did designs for the logo. marketing for the menu. You know what I mean? Like that dude's
he's
crazy.
talented. Yeah, I've
He's
been wearing
nuts.
Compound District since he probably started it. That's why I was telling you, I've known Frankie for quite a while when he was still in high school, and like the whole Compound District started. He used to give you like 5 shirts for $20 or $30 or whatever
my
it was.
Closet
And he used to have the lion designs ridiculous. And
stuff.
You
walk in my closet, it's all Compound shit. Mercy Compound.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, y'all needed to sponsor me already.
And what was that process like of starting up the food truck industry? And knowing where the different venues or like where your audience for your taste of food that you're serving.
It probably was one of the biggest challenges to do. Luckily, he has his backstory and his reputation. I have mine for cooking already. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't as hard as we thought it would be, but it was a tough challenge to upkeep. It's easy to start a business. It's hard to maintain it.
Correct.
And that was our biggest challenge is how are we going to keep this afloat? How do we keep this popping? How do we keep people coming to the truck every day?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What we hit it off with is throwing events and collabing with people. Breweries, we'd collab with them and they'd pair up a beer with our food, you know what I mean? And we do content for them and we'd be there and we'll bring our friends. Our support system with our friends is ridiculous. You know what I mean? We throw an event, it's out the water, you know what I mean? There's so many people with us. And we stuck by that for the first to 2 years and then it gets hard. We hit the pandemic, shit slows down and we had to just find a way, man. We started doing caterings and going to people's kitchens and backyards and cooking, and that's what kept us afloat, man. So it's challenging, man. It's challenging to keep it
when
up.
You started the Gourmet District, that was pre-pandemic, like before the pandemic?
Yeah, it was actually going into the pandemic.
Like so, right? Yeah. So talk about more specifically, because I'm always interested to hear how people overcome challenges because you as an entrepreneur, some challenges we face are like self-inflicted by the decisions we make.
Absolutely.
And then there's some challenges that just brought on us by the nature of our journey, like a pandemic and them closing down restaurants or dictating the way that we were living our everyday life. And they've affected a lot of industries.
Yeah.
And how did that, because I've talked to some people through COVID and they say, man, it really hurt me. And I've talked to some people that say, yeah, it was an initial shock and it hurt me, but I was able to like pivot and it actually helped me because now I'm doing this or that now and it's mobilized my business or it's monetized my business because I'm moving in a different direction.
So for us, I think it helped. The world slowed down. Everything went on freeze and it gave us a spotlight because we were still going. So a lot of people were at home chilling and stuff. So we throw an event we'll have the truck open and it brought more people to us, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I was on the radio station and I said shout out to COVID at the end. And I didn't mean it in a bad way because I know
got it.
Business
was booming during COVID though.
Yeah,
I get it.
For us, COVID was definitely alley-oop because everybody just was at home. Everybody had money. Shout out to the president. He was just throwing money in people's accounts.
He was, yeah.
They were coming to the truck and flooding it.
And food was deemed essential, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we were just giving stuff. We were giving things for people to do. You had stuff going on still. And that's what kept us afloat, man, during that pandemic. But it was rough. When I was at Cafe Fiore, I was partnered with World Kitchen, which they go all around the world and help people in pandemics and all that. And I was doing like 400 to 500 meals a day.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like I'd box them up and they'd pick them up in the truck. And I'd be in there at 6 a.m. I wouldn't get home till 9 p.m., 10 p.m., like just cooking those meals. The restaurant was on pause. We were just doing takeout orders because you couldn't have anybody dine in.
Yeah.
So it was tough, man. You know what I mean? So going into that and then coming off of that, opening the truck, I still had that same mentality. I'm like, people are at home, so they still want food. So let's launch this. You know, let's put packages together. Let's put the menu out there. Let's show them that we're still cooking. Let's show them that we'll deliver whatever it takes to keep this afloat. So that's what we did to adapt to.
That's amazing. Another thing that I ask a lot of people on the podcast is like, you talked about you worked with Larson's and the Cafe Fiores and these big brand companies. And that's great to have those relationships. But what was that decision for you when you said, I'm going to bet on myself. Like, I'm going to leave the safety net. I'm going to leave, quote unquote, the 9 to 5. And I'm going to go now create my own check. Because that decision is different for everybody. And it's hard. It's a very hard decision to leave your financial comfort zone for unknown. I mean, we believe in ourselves. We got ultimate confidence in yourself, but it's still making that decision.
It's the scariest thing in the world.
So talk about, when was that and what tipped the scale where you're like, I'm going to do this?
Oh, man. So the restaurant, it's rugged. You know what I mean? Like when you're in the restaurant industry and you're under someone, I want to say you're almost like a yes man. Your name's not on the building. The menu does have inspo by you, but it's not your menu.
No, you don't dictate
So you're still taking orders. You're still following someone else's recipes and regimens and all that. So for me, man, I got fed up. I'm like, I have so many people coming into this restaurant, Cafe Fiore. I had that shit popping. You know what I mean?
I'm attest to that.
I threw a going away event, and that whole restaurant was packed out. Excuse me. That whole restaurant was packed out, and the owners are like, "Why is this belly out?" Like, why do you have to throw the biggest day in sales when you're leaving? I'm like, I just make it fun, man. I keep cooking fun, and it made me feel like I could do this on my own. You know what I mean? If I'm bringing this much people into a restaurant that's not even mine, imagine if I had my own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of made me leap. It's let's just try it. You know what I mean? The worst case scenario, I have all this skill set and backstory under my belt. I could always go back. But in mentality, no one ever wants to go backwards.
You don't want to go backwards.
No one wants to go backwards in life. So,
and then I think as men, like, there's that ego involved.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
You know what I mean? It's like breaking up with someone. You're not going back.
Not going back,
no, we done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me, it was just like a leap forward and don't look back kind of thing. And by the grace of God, it jumped off right from the jump. It was very successful to open Gourmet District.
Yeah, and then you guys took off. Of course, you've hit your roadblocks, but
it's been a
so Cafe
right
Fiore was your last place before you started working for yourself.
Yep, that's correct.
So you're running Gourmet District, you're doing private catering and those type of things. How do you time manage in your personal life as well as we were talking off camera? You got to consider your own physical and mental health. Like, how do you time manage?
As a businessman, entrepreneur, you have no personal life, to be quite honest.
I call us 24/7 employees.
It is, man, because if you're not out and about working on dock, you're still at home following up with emails, you're still talking to clients, you're still meeting with people, you're still working. You're around clock. Even when you go to sleep, you're over here thinking about what can I do tomorrow or what can I set myself up to be successful for the next day. In a sense, yeah, it is. It's very healthy to have balance. You have to, we're only human. It's very important to take care of yourself and your well-being and your social life and your family as well.
Right. It's all a balance, right?
It is, yeah. You know what I mean? It's tough, man, but I get it done. I do. I think that's always been me is on go. You know what I mean? Hustlers, I'm always on go, man. Whether I'm cooking, I have to do meal preps, I get those out, and then my girl go here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have the night. Then the next day I wake up, it's time to run a truck, do this. Okay, we get off work. Here's our alone time. You know what I mean? Here's family time. Here's this, that. So it's all just, I think it's just organization and planning. And as a chef, you have to have that under your belt if you want to be successful.
Like, time management is something that I still struggle with to this day. And I always ask people, like I said, because I'm still learning to grow in my, my business journey. And I'm like, man, I need to sit down like on a Sunday and plan out my week.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to do that because you have so many moving parts. You get pulled in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
So we're like, you can set a schedule like you want, but it's so rare that
it's nice to look at, but you don't
it's not
follow it.
It's not going to follow it because, again, we're on a different wavelength of we have to problem solve, put out fires, talk to clients.
Yeah.
If you're working with your team, you got working and managing people is completely different than managing a task, right? Because you're dealing with people and their emotions and their stuff, right? But you got to motivate them to give you their best.
Yeah.
And so time management has always been something that I've struggled with. I think I do it. I have my moments where I'm more effective than others. But what I don't find myself I don't procrastinate a lot, right? Because I don't have the time. I'm like you. I'm on go. I'm on go from next to the next to work, to family, to my relationship. I got three kids, 2 stepkids, and they all deserve your attention. And that's one thing in life that I've always set is like the boundary. I would say when it's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock may be different times, but when I'm off, it's hard to get me to move after I'm off. Once you check out, I'm checked
That's how
out.
I am too. Like once I shut down the day, you can't get me up for nothing.
Yeah,
you know
there's not enough money in the world. It had to be like an extreme circumstance for me to pop up and then want to work.
This is me time.
Yeah, exactly. What has been the most rewarding thing for you being an entrepreneur in the culinary arts?
Man, that's easy. Freedom. Do what you love and not answer to anybody is the best thing in the world. And knowing you have to go through that to really understand that, you know what I mean? Like, it's inevitable. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah,
just to make your own schedule every single day.
Exactly, that part.
You know what I mean? Just to be here when you want to be here, to be there when you want to be there.
Or say, no, I don't want to do this.
Or turn down stuff.
Turn
you know what I mean?
down,
It's the best feeling in the world because being in the culinary world, you work breakfast, lunch, dinner. You're there all day. You miss holidays, you miss birthdays, you miss anything going on that's fun. Any fun shit is not happening. So you have to make cooking fun.
Correct.
Cooking has to be your fun shit at the time. Freedom for me is best.
But when you're doing something that you're passionate about or that you have a love for, it's easy to make it fun. It doesn't seem like work, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just it's not work. It's just you're doing what you love and you're monetizing off it financially. But when you're working within your purpose and you're doing what you love, it's so easy to roll out of bed when you don't want to. And I always say, well, if I was going to put in 40 hours a week for somebody else, I'll put in 60 to 80 for myself. Easy. Like that's a no-brainer.
Yep.
I have that work ethic. And for other people, when I was working for other people, why wouldn't I do it for myself?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I totally relate. I think I share that. Being an entrepreneur is that freedom. A time when you're able to sustain success, you have a certain level of financial freedom as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then again, like we work hard and then we're able to enjoy
the fruits of our labor.
Exactly. Yep. And that's the most beautiful thing is you enjoying it, you and your family enjoying the fruits of your labors, and it's yours, right? Yeah. It's not like I worked hard for this company and I got a bonus or this or that. And it's no knock on people that are non-entrepreneurs, because us entrepreneurs, we need those team members. And they're just as essential as us.
It's definitely scary being an entrepreneur too.
It is.
It's not always rainy, you know what I mean? So
no,
it's not. There's dark days.
So do you have days where you're like, why didn't I just get a 9? What am I doing? Why didn't I just get a 9 to 5? Like, what am I? Why don't I just go back to the restaurant? Like, I don't want this pressure and responsibility.
There's slow days and there's things that go on in the business behind the scenes that you're like, fuck, like this is a jam. You know what I mean? Like, how am I going to get out of this?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna just go get a job. Paid salary, $85K, whatever they pay me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go do that and just call it quits. But then to me, that's a sense of giving up.
Yeah.
I've come so far to where I'll be down like to give up on my dream and my passion and everything I created for myself. I want to stick with it. Even when it gets tough, that's when the good comes out of that. You know what I mean? It grows you. It's growth.
I also been watching the social media content that you've been putting out yourself and then your chef. Like, you make chef fly. Like, you got a lot of swag and fashion and style into it, and you're embraced with the culture. Like, how has the social media platform enhanced your culinary arts?
I think social media, like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I was talking to Charles about it when he was at the truck. It's beautiful, man. It's a networking platform. Not everybody uses it for that, but as long as it's been launched, I've always used it for that. I always put food on there and always had a whole meal prep business, which I still do for private clients, but I was thriving. I was cooking like 60 to 70 meals a day. That's the easiest money. If anybody knows meal prep, it's time consuming, but it's the easiest because people cook meal prep at home now. Social media is beautiful for me. I'm still learning how to use TikTok. So
different platforms.
Everybody does that, but Instagram has always been my go-to. Just putting stuff on stories and making reels. It's beautiful and it's so easy to use, and it attracts people because everybody spends at least a couple hours a day on their phone on social media, you know what I mean? And they're good to come across your stuff. And you get hungry. Like, when you're on your phone, people yelp where they're going to eat. So they go on Instagram and look at different food spots. So me just popping up from people that follow me, you know what I mean? It's an easy go. It's an ezy sell.
And with your business, you're able to display your product and make it look savory. And so have you found also that that platform, Instagram, TikTok, social media, have you turned followers into actual clients and customers from social media?
Absolutely, man.
Nice.
I cross collab too. So sometimes, like, people don't want hibachi, but they know I'm a chef. So they say, hey, can you make this? And I capitalize on that too, you know, and bring people's attention to, hey, it doesn't just have to be hibachi. Like, we could have a fried chicken dinner, you know what I mean? Like, we could do some Italian food. Like, I specialize in fine dining and Italian. We could do a steak dinner. It definitely alley-oops. It goes hand in hand.
So for you, other than your own work experience, working under mentor chefs and your own business, did you have any culinary art school that you had to go to?
I didn't, man. So
it's all just...
this is all just working in the field. At one point, I was working 3 jobs. Mm-hmm. I would literally do brunch at Larson's. I would go to Maria's Italian Kitchen, and then I would go to Lazy Dog for dinner. And that was my shift. It was on the collection. So some people call me, like, my friends, they call me a little collection whore, because, like, I was literally in the collection. Like, a new restaurant's opening, I'm in there, opening the restaurant with them. So I just pushed myself and put the hours in to teach myself to where I'm at today.
That's awesome. Because I'm not opposed to school and college, if that's what your career path may be. I came up a lot like you. Like, my experience came from the field, in my industry of construction and roofing. Like, I had the opportunity to work for my uncles and actually work my way up through the different ranks of the construction industry. And I took some courses here or there but I wasn't
be educated on
to get the knowledge.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to. But that actual everyday experience of working is what helped me in today, like I couldn't went to class for some of the things that what the work experience gave me, the problem solving that I had to do, and in working with others and stuff like that. And again, I'm not a component of students, but I think there's so many times college students get out of school, they're in a bad situation because usually we're college students get in debt. They can't even work in the major that they just spent the last 4 to 6 years studying. And I always think that there has to be something done there because the financial responsibility of your college debt hits you right after college, and you got to go work.
It's almost like a setback.
It is. You start out like your adulthood in like a setback position. And then, and those are aggressive. College loan callers are like aggressive. They're calling you, and that just adds stress. Let's say like, oh, I'm going to just go get a job at Nike. You know what I mean? And you just, until I get something else, and then something else doesn't come. And now that degree is just another plaque on the wall. And it's unfortunate for some. And for some people, I think it works out a lot. But for a lot of entrepreneurs that I've met, and the most successful ones I've met, their experience mainly comes from working in their industry at some level, or a combination of school and working in their industry.
Absolutely.
So what's next for Chef Palmer? If everything went well, like I always say, what's your big audacious goal? If you could say everything went well in my business and this is what I want to do with my success, what would that be?
My ultimate dream is to one day open a steakhouse,
like the fine dining type steakhouses.
Fine dining type steakhouse.
So my favorite steakhouse is STK.
Okay,
love that place.
I love it there too, man. So that's always been my dream since I started cooking. But in all reality, I just want all my businesses to thrive. Whether it's meal prep, my caterings for private chef gigs, my food truck, or even the brunch restaurant that we haven't opened yet. It's called Beso Cafe. All those just to thrive, and hopes to open up more of them. So that's my ultimate dream. Like every project I have started or put my foot in or put my heart into in time, I just want them to thrive and be here forever. You know what I mean? Just to pass on to when I have kids, hey, this is what your dad did. If you want to cook, hey, I'll teach you the ropes. You know what I mean? You live with me. You start working at 5. What's up?
Exactly.
Pay rent by 10.
I heard that. For our audience, if you can give us one like culinary tip, what would that be?
Just do it, man. Take every opportunity you get. Even if you are scared or you don't think you could do it. You know what I mean? Because everything is always going to work out. If it wasn't meant to be, it wouldn't be thrown at you. Just run with it. And that's how I got to where I'm at today. I took every opportunity that's been thrown at me. I missed some, and those are the ones I regret missing. For that reason, it makes me go harder for every opportunity that gets thrown. So just run with everything you get. Don't be scared to put yourself out there and really chase your dream. If you love to cook, you could cook. Anybody could cook. You just got to put your heart to it. You know what I mean?
I think that applies to a lot. Not only just culinary arts, but that applies. We put our heart and effort in anything. One of my sayings, we can only withdraw what we deposit, right? So meaning like you put in the hard work, that's what you're going to get those results out of it. And then the ball bounces your way. You're in the right places at the right time because you've worked hard. So when these opportunities come, you're in a position to receive them, because opportunities can come your way and you haven't done the work, and you're not in a position to receive the opportunity as it comes, or you're overlooked for a certain opportunity. You don't come on a certain person's radar that sparks a relationship for just scaled up growth. So, man, I commend you on everything that you're doing. My favorite dish that I've had so far is going to be the pasta or the filet mignon bites from the Gourmet District with the rice or noodles. Me and my girl, we love the Gourmet District. Keep doing what you're doing. You and me and DeLon, we got some more things coming up on the way.
Got a big event in the works.
But tell the audience, where can we find you and your content, or hire you for culinary services?
So you can find me at IG at everything's on there that you need to find. My food truck posts daily. You can see where it's posted up at. We are doing a new feature now where it's backyard hibachi, which is, I want to say, the first in Ventura County as well. So we come to your backyard and we do hibachi. We set up the whole thing like as if you're at Teppan or Sabi, and we have fun with it. The minimum's $1,000, not too much. We keep it cheap, keep it light. But yeah, man. And then Beso Cafe, we're doing footballs right now. Anything going on with football, any day that they're playing, we'll be there. We'll be throwing down. So yeah, holler at us. We'll take care of you guys.
And all our listeners, I appreciate you for tuning in to this episode of the Collab District Podcast. I enjoyed my episode and conversation cooking up with Chef Palmer today. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review on Apple's Spotify, and all your different podcast platforms.